Once upon a time, in the entity's realm, on a cold fall day with ghosts and ghouls about, there was a man, a sad man, a weak man, a man who had spent most of the past 7 years getting thrown about and bullied relentlessly. His name was Evan, but it was a special time of year, one that changed Evan completely. He became the Pumpkin Man. A simple creature whose sole purpose is to protect his brethren and kill anyone who dared get in the way of that purpose. He found himself in a rainy forest, in a lush area. Immediately, he set out to find a brother, a pumpkin in arms. It did so quickly. The next step for him was to set up a line of defense, one strong enough that no survivor would dare touch the pumpkin. Once the defense was set up, he waited. He found comfort staring into those red eyes. He felt safe and happy. And then a monster showed up, wearing a smiling mask. He tried to reason with her, to show that this tiny pumpkin was his, and her compatriots could have everything else that they so desired. And yet, even though he wanted for so little, it was clear she wanted to destroy it. Once he deemed that she wasn't an immediate threat, he refocused his attention on the real matter, the pumpkin. If nothing else, she seemed to admire the Pumpkin Man's dedication. He truly had placed 10 traps around a single jack-o'-lantern. He continued to insist, nay, beg, for her to not harm his brother. Once she got too close, he became defensive. He did what had to be done. And so he went back to what he does best, guarding the pumpkin. And then the final generator was completed. The monster got up, panicking the Pumpkin Man as he put her back down and injured himself on his own defenses. He then realized that she wasn't trying to kill his brother, so out of sympathy he decided to carry her out of the danger zone so that she could get out. He should have known that a single ounce of compassion or empathy, and these monsters will strike. It all happened so fast. The snap of the trap closing shut. It made the Pumpkin Man's heart drop. He hoped, he prayed that it was one of the decoy traps meant to waste the monster's time. But as he returned from the mere seconds he spent away from his brother, it was too late. He was gone. The Pumpkin Man had failed to the likes of a void creature who spat in his face. But he would not fail again. He rushed to a new land, a better land, where he found a pumpkin in a humble little shack. This, he decided, would be his redemption. He trapped every inch of that shack, ensuring that no one would get in or out. No one would ever hurt his brothers again. Even before the defenses were set, he felt a malicious presence in the air. They were close, and they were hungry. For blood, for any amount of happiness or joy or light to jump on and snuff out. But the Pumpkin Man did not let them scare him, for he knew now to not have any sympathy for these creatures. Suddenly, a flurry of movement. A Fang, distracting him with her brazen stupidity. An Ace's scream, loud and disorienting. A Renato, somehow getting past the Pumpkin Man's flawless defenses. He kept his cool and dealt with them maturely, like an adult, in that he made it clear that he would murder any fool who dared set foot in his and his brother's house. And his methods worked. They didn't try to enter the shack for the remainder of the trial. His brother was safe. Cut to a farm, after all the defenses had been set. So close to a victory. He had spent the trial reasoning with the monsters, as persistent as they were. He was so close. And then she showed up. She taunted him, daring him to strike. But as the end drew near, the pumpkin realized something. If this monster was so persistent, so tempted to murder his brother in cold blood, then he would give her the option. He was going to test her, to see if she could understand that of all the totems, and chests, and generators, and survivors of the trials, all he wanted was this one single pumpkin. But she failed the test, and in so, she doomed herself, for he had resolved that if she was going to murder his pumpkin brethren, she would become the pumpkin. She pleaded, as he did minutes ago, asking her to leave him and his family alone, but her cries fell on deaf ears. She would make a fine pumpkin.